Good morning, children. Welcome to today's session. Children, we learnt about Penmakuru introduction in our previous class. How many of you remember about the landforms before we have begun with Penmakuru? So it's a continuation of landforms, children. Under the landforms, we have seen different kinds of landforms like mountains, plateaus and plains. So the next following chapters, we deal about the life and the survival of the human beings in these three different regions. Penmakuru is a lifestyle which we discuss in a delta region, whereas next followed by Dokuru, where we study about the lifestyle in a plateau region, and Penugolu, where we study about the lifestyle in the hilly region. So Penmakuru, we discussed yesterday regarding Penmakuru, how to reach Penmakuru. Okay, we traveled. Do you remember yesterday I took you to Penmakuru from Vijayawada? We traveled via Vuyur, okay, 16 kilometers away from Vuyur. We crossed the Bandar Canal and reached Penmakuru. So Penmakuru is a village which is surrounded on one side by Krishna river and the other side by the Bandar Canal. So this Bandar Canal is taken out from the Prakasham barrage, which is constructed across the river Krishna in Vijayawada of Krishna district. So this delta region is very fertile and very prosperous for agriculture. The different types of soils present in this Penmakuru village also we have seen after reaching the village. There are different types of soils, mostly Ondru Bhumi, or which we call them as alluvium soils, are present in the region. And apart from the Ondru Bhumi, we also have seen Nallaregadi. Up to a depth of 15 feet, you find this Nallaregadi, which is very moisture retentive and very rich for cultivation of crops. And third kind of soils are the sandy soils, which are highlands and which doesn't have the irrigational facilities in the village. Such sandy soils are also present here, very little. But most number of people who are present in Penmakuru are dependent upon agriculture. And non-agricultural activities are very little we find here, but most of them dependent upon agriculture. Today in our class we shall discuss about the rainfall and irrigational facilities in Penmakuru. This region receives very heavy rainfall from the months of June to October, that is from the southwest monsoon, whereas in between October to May they receive very meager rainfall. I must say that there is no rainfall between the months of October to May. So in this period of October to May, they mostly depend upon the water for irrigation from the Bandar Canal or the places which are away from the Bandar Canal. To the what we call eastern side of the village, which is very near to the Bandar Canal, they irrigate the lands. Those are the low-lying areas which irrigate the land by the Bandar Canal. But to the western side and to the northern side, which are very high places, there the people cultivate it through the bore wells, and at a depth of 15 to 25 meters. That means as they are very near to the Krishna river in the northern side and in the western side, to the depth of 15 to 25 feet only, they find the groundwater. So with a less expensive, they even can drill the bore well and they can irrigate the water. And most of them follow the submersible pumps. They installed submersible pumps and they use electrical engines in order to operate, and they irrigate the lands with the help of the bore wells. Recently there has been an increasing use of groundwater throughout the area through the cultivation of 3 crops. Uplands are cultivating even 3 crops per annum, and they can easily get irrigated with the canal water. And even if you look at the crops, the kinds of crops which are grown here, we have seen right now about the rainfall and irrigation. The rainfall will be very ample during the months of June to October. It's nothing but a northwest monsoon, southwest monsoon, sorry. Whereas from November to May, they depend upon the bore wells. And coming to the crops, what kind of crops do they cultivate? Mostly these delta regions cultivate paddy, mostly. So here also paddy is extensively cultivated in this region, especially in the Krishna Delta. Paddy is very rich. Most of the lands, especially the Pallam lands, Pallam in the sense low-lying lands, are sown with paddy. The nursery for the paddy monsoon crop is called as Salwa, and which is sown and transplanted in the months of June and July. That means in the beginning of the monsoon, the transplantation will be done. They usually grow high yielding varieties like MTU and 2716 Swarna, Vijaya Masura and BPT. This is harvested in the months of October and November. That is the period of Dashera. And the main agricultural operations like plowing, weeding, transplanting and transportation, threshing, these all will be done through the tractors. It's well mechanized agricultural methods they follow, and transplantation is mainly done by the women. Transplantation, they do it manually, and that also will be done by the women workers. From the months of December, they sow the winter crop, they call it as Dalwa. Salwa is a crop in the rainy season, and in the winter they transplant Dalwa. This will be either the paddy crop or the pulses, any kind of pulses they grow. Either the red gram, green gram, okay, Bengal gram, different kinds of pulses also they grow as a second crop in this region. During the last few years, many of the farmers have been cultivating sugarcane because it's a cash crop. Sugarcane they were cultivating in the place of paddy. So sugarcane stands in the field for 9 to 12 months. So as it is harvested in the months of February, March, then it grows to give a second crop the next year. These fields need to be tending throughout the year, and this is done mainly by men. So nowadays villagers also cultivate turmeric or yam, banana, different kinds of crops are also they are cultivating in the uplands, not in the lowlands, but in the uplands they are cultivating different kinds of crops. These are sown during the arrival of rains and harvested in the months of February and March. So it's almost 8 to 9 months of a crop, and yam are grown for sale in the market, whereas banana is also, sugarcane, turmeric, those all are not the food crops to be kept at home. So they even sold the excessive crop in the market, in the open market, as they are not consumed in the village itself. So in the olden days, the farmers used to cultivate red gram, green gram and different kinds of millets in the uplands, but they did not require much water. Nowadays, these crops have been replaced with the vegetables and sugarcane, which require a large amount of water. And kinds of vegetables, if you look, they are cultivated in Merka Bhumulu, or they are also called as Garva Bhumulu. So in the uplands of the village, they are suitable for the cultivation of the vegetables, and in the low-lying lands, if water is not sufficient for a second crop also, they are cultivating with the vegetable. Usually they cultivate brinjal, lady's finger and ivy gourd, which we call it. Ivy gourd means dondakai. Ivy gourd, bitter gourd, ridge gourd and cabbage. And they also sell it in the Vuyur Raitu Bazar. Vuyur is very near to them, 16 kilometers away. Okay, they sell it in the Vuyur Raitu Bazar, all these vegetables. Some farmers also cultivate Jiluga or Pelli Paisara, we call it as, to increase the fertility of the soil. They cultivate even this also. And these are leguminous green manure crops which also fix the nitrogen in the soil and which makes the soil more fertile for the next crop. And after 30 to 40 days, they plow the land back in the soil so that the fertility of the soil increases. If you look at some of the orchids which have got developed in this region, we shall see about the orchids, different kinds of orchids, okay, orange orchid, guava orchid, banana orchid, we shall see about them, total. We shall see about these orchids in the next class about Penamakuru. Thank you, children.